Okay, this beginning part is going to be very beginner friendly, so I will timestamp it for those of you who want to just get to the stitch. The reason I'm making it very beginner friendly is because of someone my husband met at the training he was doing that really wants to learn how to crochet. So this is for that person that I'm starting at the beginning. Now, I am using I believe what's called chain spun style yarn, so it's not like pieces wrapped around each other. It's almost like braided, if you will. Um, this is nice when you're a beginner because it doesn't split as much. I also felt the color was a decent contrast with my blue background. Sorry about all the shadows. Oh, let me try this. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay, now I'm going to talk about two different kind of hooks. Now I like the ergonomic hooks, and I like inline hooks or Susan Bates styled hooks. So we've got our Bates Babes and our boy babes, I guess. So if you see the difference, you see how this is sharper. This is called a tapered head. So, and then this is called an inline head. Okay. These are not the same size hook. This is a 6.5. This is a 5.5 millimeter. Again, I like the ergonomic. That's why I like these bulky. You may find that you like, oh, do I even have any up here? Something more, this is tiny, but, you know, the metal hooks, the standard metal hooks. Find what feels good in your hand. You can get pretty decent hooks for fairly affordable whole sets. Now, this is Clover. This set isn't terribly expensive, but it's also not cheap. This is furls. These are definitely not cheap. The wood furls in particular. So anyway, I just wanted to mostly talk about the head. Everybody has a preference. So sometimes you want to make sure, well, when you're learning, you want to make sure you have a couple hooks of the two different styles, and probably 6 millimeter or an J hook is your best to start with. And this is a medium weight 4 yarn. That's what Americans call it. It's worsted or Aran, and I don't remember the plies in Australia. Okay, let's talk about a slip knot. Everybody does slip knots differently. Let me show you how I do mine. So I put it over the hook, I wrap it across, and then I pull this up, and I kind of wrap it around my finger, and then I grab that and pull it through. And that is how I make a slip knot. There are about 100 ways to make a slip knot. Feel free to search around and look at slip knots because everyone will find a comfortable way to do it. All right. So this pattern comes from the book Indispensable Stitch Collections for Crocheters. It's done in a multiple of 4, and then we'll get into it. So once you have your slip knot, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to chain. And typically, most people yarn over and pull through. That's a chain. Now, I try to keep that chain open. The hardest thing when you're beginning is to not pull that chain closed, and then you can't get your stitch in there. So 2. Oh, and how I wrap. This is how I wrap it. Sometimes I wrap it like this. I move it around. So I am not the best person to talk to you about holding your yarn. Most people use their pinky. Whatever works for you. But notice I'm kind of holding that stitch open so that when I yarn over and pull through, it does not close up. The reason is we're going to need to get back into these stitches. Sorry about my phone. So we can get back into our stitches. Now it's a multiple of 4, but I'm not going to do 4. Let's do 16. Notice I'm kind of pulling those wide open. This is a slightly larger hook. 5.5, nah. This hook's probably the right size. I lost count. Oh, and so to count, I'm counting these V's. If you can see the V shape. Okay, I need to do 3 more. Over 4. You can count in sets of 4 when it's as simple as the multiple of 4. Now, here's where most people get stuck. Now, I'm going to turn it over and go into these back bumps because I like the look of it better because then you have a chain. You have that chain underneath. So we're going to go into what's called the back bump. We do not count this as a stitch, this loop that's on the hook. All right. Again, a lot of people don't care for this style hook. And don't invest in this style hook until you know what you like, okay? All right. So it says the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a double crochet and a single crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. Okay, so again, we don't count that. So I'm going to count these bumps. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this, I'm going to grab that and I'm going to double crochet. So to double crochet, I got to grab it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, this one. Okay, we have to yarn over. So put the yarn over the hook and go in to that back bump, and then we yarn over again and pull that through. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through 2 of the loops. And notice I'm crocheting very loosely. This is so that it's easier to see what I'm doing. And then yarn over and pull through the next 2. That is a US double crochet. In the UK, that would be a treble crochet. I kind of pulled it down tight. I did not mean to. That's all right. Just so you're aware. So what we call a single crochet, which is the next thing I'm going to do. So a single crochet, I do not yarn over. I just go into the stitch, but I need to, in this pattern, go into that same stitch. I'm going to yarn over and pull through. So now I have 2 loops. This is why the British, oh, my cat's going to join. Okay, kitty. Guess we're editing. Well, hello. Come on now. All right. Okay. So the British, the UK, and I think Australia, they call this a double crochet because you're going through 2 loops. We in the US call it a single crochet because you yarn over and you pull through once, whereas the double, we pulled through twice. So we yarned over and pulled through twice. Hi, kitty. She's being a sweetheart. Okay. So that's the first step in the pattern. So for the non-beginner, so that was in the 4th chain, a double crochet and a single crochet. Then we are going to skip 3. Nope, sorry. We're going to chain 3, which is just this, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So in the 4th chain from the beginning, double, single in the same stitch, chain 3, then skip 3. Again, we're going to skip 3 of these bumps. 1, 2, 3. And in this, we're going to do a double, which is yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and a single, which is don't yarn over until you've been through, and then you yarn over and pull through once. Okay? And then chain 3. Where's my chain? There it is. And we skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and go right here. And we're going to double, which is yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then into that same stitch, we don't yarn over until we're through, yarn over and pull through, and then pull through both. Okay. And then notice we only have the 4 stitches left, so I'm going to double check what it says. Okay, so we're going to just do the same thing. So our last stitch is actually going to be that single. I'm going to go slower in this. So I forgot to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So those 3 chains are these 3 that we're skipping. Okay. And in the very last chain, we need to yarn over, go through, yarn over again, pull that through, but not through any loops. We have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then a single. So you are going to end on a single. Okay. Now, how do I get to the next row? This for me was the learning curve when I was first learning. How do I get to the next row? Okay. Again, I'm crocheting pretty loosely, so you can see what I'm doing. You can see I was looser there. Anyway. Sometimes you just change the hook size to make it easier. Sometimes when you make your initial chain, you want bigger hook. I need to see what I need to do. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to chain 3. That is not going to count as anything. Okay. And then I'm going to turn my work. And then I'm going to yarn over, and in this stitch right here, okay, in this single crochet, I'm going to do a double crochet and a single crochet. Again, into that same stitch. And then we chain 3 and into the top of the next. Why does something look wrong? Something looks wrong. Okay. Try it again. See if it looks right to me this time. Okay, so that's in that very first stitch. We're doing a double crochet. Oh, that's why we did the chain 3 to get to the right height. Okay, and then chain 3, and then we skip over to the double crochet, right? Yep. We skip all the way over to this double crochet, and we yarn over, and we double crochet. Come on, get in there. I'm trying to get just under those top 2 loops. In the right spot? Yeah. Okay. And single crochet in that same spot. And then chain 3. And then skip all the way over to this double crochet. Again, we're going to go underneath those 2 pieces that make the V. Yarn over, pull through, double crochet, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and then single crochet in the same stitch. Yarn over, pull through, then pull through 2. Okay, chain 3. And we need to go in the top of our double crochet again. So this makes for an interesting edge. So our double crochet is right here. So this is our single. Here's our double. We're going to double crochet. And single crochet. And we ignore that chain 3. So you can tell my tension is very inconsistent, and I'm holding, this is how I'm holding my yarn. Again, I change it and I play around with it, see what works best for you. So let's do one more row. This is it's a 1 row repeat. It's all the same. So we're going to chain 3 from after that single crochet. We're going to turn our work. You can turn your work first. I don't know. I usually do. I don't know why I'm not here. And then we're going to into this double, right? Yeah, I think that's what I did wrong last time. So we need to go into this double, not into the single. Into the double crochet and single crochet. Okay, so I'm going to teach you about frogging. All right, because I realized what I did wrong. I knew it didn't look right. Okay, frogging is when you rip it out. So in other words, pull out your work. I'm not going to pull out. Oh, hold on. That's where I need to stop. Okay, so let me show you what I did wrong. Okay, I went into this single crochet. I was supposed to go into this double crochet. So not this stitch, this stitch. And that's where I'm supposed to double crochet and then single. And then chain 3. And then find the double, which is going to be after the single. Oops, yarn over, double crochet into that stitch, and single crochet. Whoop. Chain 3. You see I kind of pull it out. I do that to make sure my chains are kind of have some looseness to them. Okay, yarn over into this one, double crochet, single crochet, so don't yarn over. All right, and then yarn over there, and then come through. And then chain 3, and then into the double crochet, which is, where are you, double crochet? Right there. Yarn over into here, not the single crochet, the double crochet. And we yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then a single crochet. So we have this stuff kind of hanging out on the side over here that we don't crochet into. And then we chain 3 and turn. Do they say to turn? Nope, they say chain 3 and turn. Okay, again, this is not counting as a stitch. Oops, there we go. I'm going into the double crochet, so not into this single. That was my mistake. Go under the V, yarn over, go under the V, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then into that same spot and single crochet, which is no yarn over until you're through the stitch. Okay, chain 3, and yarn over into the stitch. Again, I'm doing my best to just go under the 2 loops there. There are times you go through different loops. This is a very simple stitch. It looks very lacy and complicated, But as you can see, as long as you just remember to do the things correctly, which I didn't. Okay, then yarn over and into the double crochet. Again, we're ignoring the single crochet. And we're going right there under the 2 stitches and double crochet. Oh gosh, what kind of fuzzy thing is on there? I don't know. I got something on there. It's like gray yarn. Okay, and then a single crochet. Okay, I could tell my yarn was getting messy. I could feel it. It was coming up on my fingers. All right, so into this double crochet, yarn over. Again, ignore the single crochet. Into that double crochet under those 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn, and then no yarn over, but yarn over when you went through, and then single crochet, and then chain 3. And that is the whole pattern. So just as a general rule on here, I say don't be like Lori. Just remember to skip the single crochet and go into the double crochet for your 2 stitches. And my attention is incredibly inconsistent, especially when I'm doing a tutorial, by the way. So 3 chains, then double crochet, my work kind of flipped over on itself. That's what I was dealing with there. I just want you to have a good idea what the swatch looks like. It's such a beautiful stitch. Again, I will make sure the credit is given to the author, but I could not find a tutorial or even this stitch anywhere but in this book. So stitch combo, I guess, combination. And over into the double, right? Yep. And single and chain 3. Okay, I'm gonna pull it out. Something you'll probably want is initially probably just a basic stitch marker like this is fine. I have really nice fancy stitch markers, but I do use these, especially if I'm counting something. But you can see it's beautiful and lacy. And as far as stitches go, it doesn't look as simple as it is. But it comes out so nice. All right. And my inconsistent tension is why this looks loopier over here than it does over here. So pick a hook size that matches your yarn. I do recommend starting with a 6mm generally and a 4-weight. As per usual lately, it cut off my outro. I was saying a 6mm hook and 4-weight yarn is pretty standard to start with. That would be my recommendation. You could even go to Dollar Tree or Dollar General, Walmart, anything to get yourself started. Again, you might have to experiment a little to see. Maybe you like the metal hooks. Whatever works. So I'm going to try to make my outro sort of brief. Here it is. Thanks for coming in. Can I get an amen? Hugs to you all. No matter what kind of hug you need. Even if it's my granddaughter's version of Meemaw. That's me. As a potato head. Here I am. Sending you a hug. All right. Bye.